Are you ready to move from being a company driver to leasing your own truck? If you're ready to get into a lease agreement, we have all the pros and cons and tips for success. After watching this video, you will feel confident in leasing your first truck.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I've been in the trucking industry since 2013. I currently am helping drivers get into their own lease, signing a new lease, getting them into a truck. Now we're going to talk about the pros of leasing a truck. The first pro we have is pay. So because you're not a company driver and the company's not covering truck payments, costs, insurance for you, you have the opportunity to make a larger percentage of the load. More money in your pocket. There's also, depending on the lease terms, you could have a completion bonus at the end, or if there's no completion bonus really in a lease, you're building equity in that truck to get into position to purchase it at the end to become a true owner. The second pro we have is freight options. As a company driver, a lot of companies have forced dispatch. Sometimes they're able to work within your schedule, but sometimes you gotta take what they give you. As a lease driver, you have the opportunity to choose your freight. Of course, if you're working with a carrier, you're gonna have the carrier options. If you're working with a broker, you're gonna have to find that freight on a broker board. Definitely, if you need help, contact that company, contact your broker, contact your fleet manager. They're able to assist. The third pro is upfront costs. Really look into this and find the right company. Some lease departments require zero down. You have no upfront costs. Some do require some money down. Sometimes they're able to work with your financial situation. So definitely do your research. In addition to no money down, there are some companies that offer no credit checks too. Our fourth pro, becoming your own boss. When you get into that position, building equity into that lease, you become your own boss. You get to choose your own freight, where you go, when you take home time. You are really running your own business, either under a business name or a sole proprietor. Our last pro, support. If you're leasing through a carrier, you have the support of that company in the lease program. They're gonna work with you. They're gonna help you succeed. Of course, we always like to talk about the pros of leasing, but when there's a pro, there's usually a con. Next, we'll talk about the cons of leasing or being an independent contractor. The first con we're gonna talk about is leasing costs. So you are making a larger percentage of the load. However, you're gonna be paying for your truck payment. You have to talk about insurance, possibly even paying for permits. If you're at an outside carrier, you might have to worry about paying them on the side. The carrier a lot of times takes the truck payments for you, worry-free. Another thing to consider is if you are leasing from an outside carrier, you might have to pay for additional expenses, maybe additional equipment that you have to utilize, maybe paying for plates, permits, in addition to maybe highway use tax. The second con we're going to talk about is additional expenses. As a company driver, a lot of times you don't have to worry about paying taxes on the side. You have a lot more health insurance benefits, even retirement accounts. As a lease driver, a lot of times you don't have those options. You're gonna have to take taxes out of your pay that you get, even though you're getting a larger percentage of the load. You have those additional expenses to pay for. Some other added expenses is gonna be the maintenance on the truck. If your lease doesn't already have a maintenance deduction added to it, you'll want to save money on the side to make sure you're getting that truck fixed. You're keeping up with that maintenance. It's only going to benefit you. The third thing to consider when you become an independent contractor is taxes. As a company driver, taxes are taken out of your check, something that you don't have to worry about until you get your W-2 at the end of the year. As an independent contractor, taxes are not taken out of the pay that you are getting. To assist you in becoming an independent contractor, I would definitely recommend getting a tax accountant and learning what is tax deductible. Because on a lease, there are so many things that are tax deductible for your business. A couple things that are tax deductible are gonna be like your truck payment, insurance premiums, maintenance, fuel, and so many other items, and that is why we should definitely recommend that tax accountant. The last con is more responsibility. With more responsibility comes more extensive planning. As a lease driver, you have to plan when you take your home times. You have to plan your finances. You have that lease payment coming out week by week. You have to plan your taxes. You just have to be more aware of all the moving parts. Now that you understand the pros and cons of leasing, let's talk about the things that you can do to succeed as a lease driver. The first tip to being a very successful lease driver is doing your research. Make sure you find a company that meets your expectations. What are their home time policy? What is their expected pay? What is their freight market? When you lease from a carrier, you have their backing. You have their freight options. When you lease independently from a commercial lease finance company, you have to find your own freight, which might be very difficult if you are new to leasing. Also, if you're very specific about a truck make and model, make sure you do your research. Some companies only have a few options to select from. Make sure you read the fine print on the lease. Understand the lease terms. If you don't understand a line in the contract, make sure you ask questions. For example, what can you modify on the truck? What condition does that truck need to be in when you return it? What kind of warranty is on the vehicle? And finally, what happens if I end that lease early? The next tip is save your money. Save for the unexpected. In a lease, there's bigger reward, but you also have that risk. You have to make sure you have money saved on the side for if you want to take that vacation. You got to cover that truck payment. What if maintenance comes up on the tractor? Are you able to pay for that? My last tip is to ask for guidance. If you're unsure about the freight options, reach out to the resources that you have. May it be your fleet manager, your broker, whoever you're working with.
Sold on the idea of leasing? If you're ready to take charge and be your own boss, leasing might be perfect for you. If one of your goals is to become an owner-operator, leasing is a great way to get started. At ATS, we have many lease options that will put you in a truck with no money down and no credit check. Check out the link below that will take you to our website. There you could take a look at our sign-on bonuses and even fill out a quick application. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Over the Road on the Truck Driving Channel. We make videos like this every week, so if you found this to be helpful, feel free to like the video and even subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on the road.